Why would you want physical games?
Shut up, John. I like physical games.
Let me finish this statement. Why would you want physical games if they're not retro?
Because I like my physical games, okay? I'm weird.
Take up space.
They do take up space, but I like the space that it takes up. Let me enjoy my physical games.
No.
Damn it. What's up, everyone? Welcome into Gamesthetic episode 72. I'm Alex Light with Sparky3. Hopefully you're having an incredible day, whatever day you're listening or perhaps watching this podcast at youtube.com/Sparky3. Joining with me, as always, I got both the boys here in studio, Zach and John. How are you guys feeling today?
I'm doing good. Can't complain about it.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We'll get there.
Why?
I don't know. We'll just get there. We always do.
All right.
John, how are you?
It's all right. I could complain, but I won't.
See? There's always something to complain about. Well, we could complain about the snow, I guess, but, you know, it is what it is, right?
What snow?
It's kind of there. I mean, you said I had a nice topping on my car. That's something, I guess, but anyway, if you could go follow us on Twitter at Gamesteticpod, we'd appreciate that follow, as well as check out the other shows like at AniMan Podcast, Terrible Football Show, and talk about movies and stuff. And lastly, if you want sports for the Patreon is a great way to do so, but don't feel obligated. Just be a friend, tell a friend that you're listening or watching the show. Shout out to Andy, our Tier 1 patron. We appreciate the hell out of you, my friend. So, we're up to something.
So, John, Alex thinks he's a supervillain or some crap.
I was about to say, what is happening right now?
He started doing this the other day when we were recording AniMan.
We're up to something.
So he thinks he's a supervillain or something.
Does he think he's being clever?
Yes.
We're up to something.
And he's stated he's going to do this on every show until the thing that we're working on is public.
We're up to something. That's all you need to know.
I think I'm gonna be busy for a few weeks.
Oh, come on. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're gonna be busy, helping me set it up. It's gonna be great.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Hey, Hefe, you may have lost a worker.
Well, in a way, I already have, since we're having the problems that we're having right now, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, but no, we are up to something. It's super exciting. It is probably the biggest thing that we've done here at Sparky3 so far. I mean, this is a very huge milestone for us, and I'm so excited to release to the world. I don't know a release date. We're looking at best case scenario, end of this month. I'd probably say February, though. It'd probably be my guess. It just depends. But it is going to be super cool, and I can't wait to show you guys. It is going to be very, very cool. But boys, anything you guys want to chat about before we kind of jump into the meat and potatoes of the show? Shout out to TFT with its event coming out here in, a week?
Yeah, no, it starts up on January 20th. TFT is going to have a Chinese New Year event. More or less TFT missions, new skin variants out for Little Legends, things like that.
Gotcha.
Just more reason to play TFT.
I think it's going to be its first actual in-game event for TFT. They always have the seasons and whatnot, but I think this is the first actual event as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I can't recall one before.
They've always released seasonal Little Legend variants and things like that, but not like an actual whole event.
Yeah, because every set they always release their new Little Legends, new kind of packs around it, or around holiday times.
I was about to say, the closest thing I can think of was the whole Ruin King stuff, but that was a whole Riot thing, not just TFT.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may hop in and play some of the event. I played some TFT a little bit earlier this week, just kind of dicking off, killing some time while I was waiting on Shane to come over for a Terrible Football Show. So TFT is still fun. John and I hit up some Unite earlier. That was a time.
Yeah, it was something.
It was something. That's the best way we can describe it. John got to play Decidueye for the first time. Paper mache, but he did a lot of damage. He had that going for him.
You know what I miss, John?
What's that?
Atlas Reactor.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
This was a 4 versus 4 tactics game. So you got a team of 4. Everyone chose a character, and then you got pitted against another team of 4. First team who gets 5 kills or the most kills in, I think it was 20, 30 turns?
It was 20 turns.
20 turns wins.
Because I still have a screenshot from, I think it was an 8 to 9 game on round 27.
Yeah, and Once the team hits 5, the other opposing team has the rest of that turn to match that kill, and it keeps going until one team gets 1 kill up on the other.
But yeah,
So an 8-9 score is ridiculous.
But yeah, it was just like a tactics game, like he said, where your turn order depended on what moves you were using.
Yeah, it had sort of phases because everyone makes their choices of what their characters can do all at the same time. And so you move based on whether you did a prep move, I forget what the second turn was, but more or less a movement skill or an attack skill, or I guess an action skill of some sort, whether it be attacking, healing, whatever it was. And more or less, it was also rock, paper, scissors thing of if you threw a prep skill out, it would hurt anyone who did a dash action. But if you did a dash action first, it would avoid any active actions.
I'm assuming since you said you missed it, the game is just dead.
Oh, yeah, it's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Server's been down for like 3 years.
Yeah, it's just a good time to remember.
Speaking of good time to remember, finally happened this week. So, it's been set up for a while. But Halo.
You started your rapper career?
Not that. That's still in the works. No, the legacy Halo servers shut down this past week.
Right. Yeah.
That was sad. I saw someone post a video where it's like showing the world population 0 and the dark map with the menu music, and I'm just like, damn, this music really sets the mood.
He just sent me a text that had it on. That's what it said. It said the music. This music really sets the mood, and I was like, okay.
What music?
I was like, well, I saw the picture of it, and I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? Good message.
Good message. Well, hey, that's all I can ask for is a good message out of John.
It wasn't good enough to reply to.
No. Well, I mean, if that's the case, I think 95% of messages aren't good enough for you to reply to. That's not inaccurate.
No.
You own up to this because I thought it was funny when when John was in the process of buying his house. John's like, "This is the most that I've ever actually responded to text messages in my life," just because he had to. Oh, but yeah, shout out to the Halo servers, man. I actually got to watch. I checked out a video earlier of someone who caught it in the act. Like they were in a lobby full of players, and the lobby just disappeared. And it was that moment that the server was going to shut down. It's like, damn, this is depressing. But its time has come. That was a hell of a stretch, man. Like 07 to 2012, like that was a hell of a stretch for Halo 3. I mean, it was unreal. That was a fucking time. That was one of the best. That was really one of the best examples of you really had to be there. You really did. I mean,
it was also a big time of the Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Mechanics and everything, because I mean Xbox Live is still a thing, but it has communities and whatnot. But that was a very active community just in general at Xbox Live, where people actually used mics and weren't just complete asshats to each other all the time, and actually grouped up with just randos they met. Yeah,
no, you're right. That happened a lot.
It's not like these days where when you go into a game and someone has a mic, you go, God damn it, and go try to find it and mute it.
Find a mute, yeah.
Yeah, for real. Because it's also like, because like back in like those days, Xbox Live and 360 and stuff, me and some of the boys, we'd jump between like whether it be Halo 3, like Gears of War, or like Modern Warfare 2. It's like Modern Warfare 2, and really any Call of Duty, you go into Search and Destroy and you're kicked out of a party. And you have to be in game chat for Search and Destroy.
Yeah.
And so that was that. There were times where me and the boys might mute the entire lobby because they were all fucking annoying. But a lot of the times it's just like, just be in there and chat with people, And that time is long past.
Yes.
Good times though. Good times.
You can still get it in some games on PC, but
yeah. I feel like playing some multiplayer games. I feel like it's pretty rare when I encounter someone with like playing like any sort of Halo multiplayer right now. It's rare when I find someone with a mic. I'll start hearing someone talk. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm confused what I'm hearing just because of how little it actually happens. But
see, the most I've gotten recent was when I was actually being somewhat active in Valorant, and I was actually getting consistent people with mics. I mean, it's push to talk on Valorant, but people were actually using it for like call outs and whatnot.
Well, yeah. In a game like that, it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it does, but even then I was still, like, I've still had other games like that where no one's not really using mics, and I was just like, okay.
Right. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into everything. Let's kick things off with the rumor mill. What do we have going on this week?
So the rumors we have that are possible and may make something is Square Enix was ready to reveal their next PlayStation first-party exclusive game, but may have delayed it It's revealed to not take away from one Final Fantasy 16, and supposedly it's not a Final Fantasy game or a Kingdom Hearts game. I'd be surprised if it was Kingdom Hearts to me personally, since that series is supposed to be done now. But who knows?
If it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive, I wonder what it would be. If it's not going to be Final Fantasy or Kingdom Hearts,
A JRPG.
I mean, yeah, probably.
It's Square Enix.
Okay, that's fair. It's probably all right. Mystery solved.
I mean, as to what actual kind of type of JRPG is going to be, I mean, they usually have a very specific wheelhouse of some type of fantasy-esque world or steampunky world. They usually don't deviate too much from one or the other.
That seems about accurate for Square Enix, honestly.
I mean, if they do, great for Square Enix, but for most of the Square Enix stuff that's come out in the last decade, that's about where in their warehouse is. They have a few oddballs here and there. But other possible delays coming up is Redfall could be delayed, according to reports.
Yeah, I saw that starting to pick up steam. Like whenever I found that initially, I kind of read the initial like post about it, whatever, and then after that, like probably about 3 hours later, I was seeing that pick up.
I mean, I'm not really surprised by that because I mean, besides getting the Redfall trailer back during
E3 or Summer Game Fest, one of the two. Don't remember.
Yeah, it was one of those two. I think it was E3.
I think it was.
And it's supposed to apparently come out in, I think it was like you said, April or May at the time of that trailer.
I think so. Sounds right.
And we've still heard nothing more about it. So I was sort of feeling there was going to be a delay of some sort.
Yeah, because I was going to say this is one that when I initially saw it on the list for today, I was like, I don't remember what this is because I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, it's that. Do you remember which one it was?
Yeah, yeah. It's like I went back and looked at it, but it's like couldn't remember it because there's just been nothing about it.
Yeah. Besides that trailer, and the other thing really with Redfall, just because of that art style, I feel like a lot of people are gonna think it's gonna have like Fortnite vibes with all the little mechanics we saw and whatnot, and just having that same style as Fortnite. So that could either hurt or hinder it, help it or hinder it.
And which exact studio was this? Because I know it's coming from Bethesda, but is this from Arcane?
I believe this was the weird Arcane one, yes.
Okay, because I think it's by the creators of like Dishonored, right? So that's Arcane, right?
Yeah, that's Arcane.
Okay, then yeah, it's them. Okay, just wanted to confirm. Yeah, I mean we haven't seen shit out of it, but I mean if it does get delayed, I don't feel like that's necessarily going to be surprising. So I'm kind of with you on that because we haven't seen anything out of it to this point. So.
But something to get hopes of, apparently Respawn is working on a AAA single-player FPS that isn't Titanfall.
Fall Titan.
I mean, honestly, I'm not sure what Respawn's working on because Respawn gave us Apex out of nowhere. So they got a pretty open door of questionable what they could be doing. Honestly, what I would like to speculate, though, is possibly them doing some sort of single-player Apex Legends spinoff, which is how big Apex is. I don't think they would do that.
I would actually play that, honestly. Because like Apex is like very fascinating to me, and all the characters are cool, but I'm just bad. I'll openly admit it. I'm bad. I'm bad at the game, so I don't play it.
I mean, I would think it'd be cool just because I'm an Apex fan, but I don't see them honestly doing that, to be honest.
Well, I did see one little extra tidbit to that the game is going to apparently focus a lot on like mobility is one aspect about it. So maybe you're not too far off.
I mean, most Respawn games have mobility.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just the fact that they're working on a single player FPS game, you know what? I'm down because like it's like didn't play much Titanfall, played a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Great time. But Apex, I mean, I've got hundreds of hours into Apex at this point, and Respawn on it, I'm down.
So yeah, I'd be curious to see because there's not a whole lot of single-player story-based FPS games anymore.
There's really not.
Most FPS is just immediate multiplayer.
Because that was my first thought when I saw that. I was like, damn, there's not many single-player FPS. That doesn't really happen that much anymore.
The last one that was sort of big that I remember was First Order.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about First Order.
And that's been a couple of years. I can't really think of any at the moment off the top of my head that have come out within like the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else because, like you said, It's just like normally when you got FPS, it's just automatically, all right, well, multiplayer.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd be open to it. You know, it's nice to kind of see some changes here and there in the gaming industry.
Yeah. So we'll be curious to see if we get anything out of that, because I'm definitely looking forward to that. Here's one which could be slightly worrying or help out. Insomniac potentially working on a Marvel multiplayer game.
I mean, I trust them completely at this point.
I mean, that's the thing. So far, Marvel games are hit and miss. We've had one good hit, and we've had one terrible miss. Insomniac's been just having hits after hits over the last couple of years, so it could be good. But the question becomes, what's it gonna be?
Yeah, see,
if it's multiplayer, my first thought was Fantastic Four.
That's immediately where my mind went with it. But like you said, Insomniac, they've been having hit after hit, but the multiplayer aspect of it has me a little worried.
I was about to say, because Insomniac's been working on a bunch of single player games, versus multiplayer.
Yeah.
So it's like while they've had these great game after great game come out, they've all been similar styles, similar to the point where you don't have to worry about, okay, so whatever's happening over here, you got someone else over there doing their own thing. So it's a little worrying, but at the same time, I'm optimistic about it.
Ooh, I just thought Marvel Ultimate Alliance 4.
Oh, fuck yeah. Put that in Insomniac's hands? That'd be fucking dope. That would also mean that it's going over to PlayStation instead of like how 3 was on the Switch only.
I honestly really don't hope for that. I mean, those games had their time and
they did.
Their moments. They're sort of like Lego games at this point.
John, how was 3? You're the only person I know that got it.
I didn't play very much of it.
Well, that tells you something.
I tried to go back and play it recently, and I just wasn't having fun with it.
But no, Insomniac, they have my complete trust at this point. And when it comes to the Marvel games, like we had obviously the one massive miss with Avengers, but Guardians phenomenal, Miles phenomenal, Spider-Man phenomenal. That just being the recent ones that we had. We have Midnight Suns coming out. That looks promising. Wolverine. We don't know anything about it, but it's from Insomniac, so we can maybe assume it will be good, just depending on what direction they want to take with it. And then, of course, Spider-Man 2. I don't know. If Insomniac's running it, I like what John said. I'm optimistic. And I feel like if you're going to do multiplayer, I feel like Fantastic Four would actually be. I feel like that could be an interesting game. Personally, I really do. I'd be here for that.
Well, the more thing I'm curious about is it says multiplayer, so it may not necessarily be like a story-based multiplayer.
Yeah, that's something else to consider.
Never know. We may get a Marvel version of a MOBA, like we had DC for a couple years.
I'd be down.
There is one.
There was one.
No, there is one.
There's a DC MOBA again?
No, Marvel.
Oh.
There is a Marvel MOBA. But it has not come out over here, and apparently it will not. I just found out about it recently. And I thought it looked so fucking cool. And I was watching videos on it and stuff. And I go to find out that it was originally announced to come over here. And then they pull the plug on it. So it's not coming.
Oh, it's a Korean game?
Yeah. Dude, it looks so fucking fun. Okay. I wish we could have it.
So that's thrown out the window. But, I mean, still, maybe they go multiplayer game genre instead of story-based. But considering it's Insomniac, that's probably on the lower end. I'm just throwing it out there to throw it out there, honestly.
See if I can get the name for that while you go over the next one.
I was going to say, because just by virtue of it being Insomniac, I'm less inclined to think that it's going to be like a more traditional multiplayer game and more of like a story co-op type thing.
Yeah, more or less more likely to be a couch co-op game versus a internet co-op game.
Yeah, the couch co-op or like just online co-op as well. It's something like that makes more sense coming from Insomniac. So, some other rumors that we're going to steal from another source. From a recent Nate the Hate Pod, talking about a Metroid Prime HD remaster, possible to come out second half of 2022, is probable. Xenoblade 3, expected 2022, but could get slightly pushed back into 2023, and a new Fire Emblem in 2022 from 3 house developers, and Fire Emblem remake / West release
for Genealogy of a Holy War, likely 2023.
That like when it was him and MVG, they were talking about like what they've kind of heard and stuff. Because Nate is just like he's just an insider.
Yeah.
You know, that's his thing. You know, and this is all stuff that they've both heard. But you know, when it comes to Fire Emblem talking about it, you know, he first led off with Genealogy of a Holy War. He's just like that one, a remake. You know, for that coming over. You know, it is coming over here for the first time. That is in the works, but it's not expected until 2023. But he did say. Then followed up, but there will be a new Fire Emblem this year, a brand new Fire Emblem on the Switch by the developers from Three Houses. It is expected to release sometime in summerish months, like end of quarter 2, like quarter 3 sort of range. And it's going to introduce a lot more mechanics to it since the devs are more used to the engine they ran with Three Houses.
Yeah.
So, but he said that that is very much what he has kind of been told and heard. And that got me so fucking excited when I heard that.
I'll be curious about it. I mean, it's about the right time for a new Fire Emblem game.
It is, yeah.
If you've ever stuck with the Fire Emblem series before Three Houses, it's usually a couple years in between each one, at least over here in the West. I don't know how quick they come out over in Japan and stuff like that, but it's usually a couple years in between.
Yeah, because I think it was several episodes back. We got talking about the fact that it seems about time for a new one to come out. So I wouldn't be surprised if a new one does come out this year.
And especially if it's going to be like summer around the same release that
Three Houses.
Thank you. Three Houses was not that far away. Because at this point, we're going to be. It's always tough to predict, obviously. It's Nintendo we're talking about, but we should be expecting probably a direct, maybe next month?
Yeah.
To kind of further lay out the roadmap of what to expect. I mean, we could get this announcement for a new Fire Emblem, literally next month. And then, then just more details on it at whatever's happening this summer.
I'm very curious where they're going to take a story with a new Fire Emblem, though, because it's about that time where they try and change the formula. Because if you go back to some of the Fire Emblems, they do have sort of the same basic story elements. Like the previous one before Three Houses was Birthright, Conquest, and Revelations, which was 3 different stories in one game.
Yep.
Similar to Three Houses, 3 different houses, 3 different stories, same game.
Yep.
So I'm curious if we're going to get a third one again with that sort of 3 different stories, or if they're going to change the formula up this upcoming one, if we get an announcement for it.
I feel like they may just stick with the same formula, honestly, just because of how much gameplay it adds. Because, it just adds people being on your game. I've got 250 hours on Three Houses, most because of the replayability of it.
That's fine. It's just, I know there's usually a change of Fire Emblem at some point in time where
that's fair.
They change up that sort of base setting.
Right.
I'm not saying they not necessarily will on this one, because, it's still in that sweet spot, but I personally wouldn't mind seeing it just because I always like a little bit of change in setting.
See, I'm kind of with you. I wouldn't mind seeing the little shake up to it for this go around, but I'm kind of inclined to think they may just stick with it for another game because of how popular Three Houses got.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. It made it a mainstay over here, man.
So because of how high it reached, they may just decide, let's do something similar to that again, and then really push it the next time. It's like we'll take the basis of it, add a little more to it, get a different story for it, and then next time we'll change it up.
Yeah.
And also, I do have the name of that MOBA. It is Marvel Super War, and it, like I said, it is not available in our country. It was supposed to release at some point, and they pulled the plug on it. But if you want to get it, you can download another app store called TapTap. And you can download it on TapTap. So I might try it now that I have TapTap.
Oh, man.
Because Zach and I are signed up for Talk Op Destiny, a mobile game coming out that's...
hopefully it's good if it's saying that. The only thing is I still wish we had the DC one of Infinite Crisis. That was a good MOBA.
That was a lot of fun.
It was fun. Another dead game that we played years back.
Just F's in the chat for all the dead games. Drop a comment down below your favorite dead game. I would love to hear from you.
Fandango. Or is that what it's called? I forget. It's the Grim Reaper. It's one of the Grim Reaper games. Or is it? I'll
I don't
remember
know what you're on about.
It's on Steam. It's the old PS2 game. Came out back in originally 2004.
Now, here's a very random dead game for you that just popped in my head, and it's a dead game that I never even fucking played, but I watched him play it, and it looked so goddamn cool. And it was like that Titans game. I think it was another MOBA that it was only in a pre-alpha or beta phase, and it never ended up releasing. Like it was involved in gods or something.
Realm of the Titans.
I think that's what it was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I watched him play that over at my place, and it looked so much fun, but it just unfortunately never came out.
Yeah,
Well,
I miss those days. A bunch of free games. But, I mean, that's my last rumor is the stuff from Nate the Hate. Any speculation on your Metroid Prime HD, since you're always been banging that for that, Alex?
I mean, I fully expect it to happen at this point.
He's only been calling it for about
A decade.
2 years now.
Yeah, about 2 years. I'll get it right eventually. I mean, I do fully believe it's going to happen. It is just a matter of time. I feel like it's going to help. Number one, with what Metroid Dread did for Metroid this past year, and then also to help build up for Metroid Prime 4 hype. I just think it makes too much sense to go back to Metroid Prime, a game that a lot of people consider one of the greater games of all time. That's a legit statement. That's not me saying it. I mean, I just think it's going to happen. I really do.
IGN doesn't agree.
No, it was on that list.
I mean, it was on that list, but it wasn't the number one.
I mean, I'm not saying it's number one. I'm saying one of the best. And apparently that is one of the best, according to IGN. That list was interesting, to say the least. Anyway, what do we have going on for the news this week?
Yeah, let's see. We got a Hitman trilogy coming January 20th, including 2 Game Pass.
Yeah, it's coming out on everything.
That's bad English.
Yeah, English. It was bad English, but yeah, it's coming to everything. The trilogy was announced, and then they said it was coming to Game Pass, and that was actually pretty exciting for me because these are games I've always been interested in, but not enough for me to buy them.
Have you ever played a Hitman game?
No, and that's why I've always had interest, but I've never wanted to buy them.
Yeah, I haven't ever really played a Hitman game. I've just watched Hitman speedruns.
Those are very fun to watch.
We got, let's see, Trevenant announced for Unite coming January 20th.
Which is just a big spooky tree. A lot of stuff is coming out next Thursday, apparently.
Yeah,
Yep.
it seems like it. They all like the 20th.
Unite's been giving me a lot of grass love, and I have not played enough Unite.
Is that thing like a grass dark type or some crap?
Grass Ghost.
Oh, it's a grass ghost?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I love the animation for the wood hammer.
It's just a transparent green hammer.
It was so stupid.
That's so weird.
It's like a little cone effect.
Yeah,
and then
it is.
and then like this weirdly transparent green hammer just goes.
Yeah. Yeah, like Trevenant will swing to the side, or he'll just take both arms and just bop you with it. It looks so dumb. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Tencent.
Yep. Hey, they're doing their best.
I mean, they have the mobile market.
Yeah, that's their thing.
Then we got Kirby Forgotten Land coming March 25th.
Woo!
With co-op.
Wait, what?
Yeah, co-op's going to be with the game.
Like an actual another Kirby, or is it like classic NES Kirby game and where you swallow an enemy and make them your ally?
Is it named Waddle Dee? I think the other
Waddle Dee, yeah.
It's Waddle Dee because I think
So the useless one.
yeah, because it the shot that everyone was sharing around because they thought it was funny was Waddle Dee and Kirby just sitting by a pond fishing together.
Waddle Dee's always there, but he's not as strong as Kirby. But he's there.
Yeah, he's there to help. But yeah, co-op's gonna be with the game, so that's gonna be pretty.
That's
interesting.
cool,
Yeah.
actually.
You want to play some co-op?
Yeah,
Let's do it because I am getting this game day one.
I probably will too.
It looks like a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. It's a nice change of pace for the Kirby franchise.
What changed to the Kirby franchise?
Like this one being like a 3D adventure game.
I mean, what has happened in the Kirby franchise since that? Before this?
Not that.
I mean, what
What
was the
just
last?
happened?
What was the last Kirby game?
Was it like the Epic Yarn.
Don't make this a question because I don't know. I'm asking you.
I think it was like
They're 3DS.
no,
games.
Star Allies. Star Allies. That was the last one that came out. That was just like a side-scrolling multiplayer game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Kirby games for the last few years, like for the last few ones, have been more like handheld 3DS games where they're the side scroller type.
Yep.
Gotcha.
That's how Star Allies was too. Because I know Andy played it with like Alex a lot, and he said that he enjoyed it, but I never bothered to check it out personally.
Okay.
Moving on from that, we have Assassin's Creed Ezio Collection coming February 17th to the Switch.
They didn't look good.
I doubt they did.
They did not look good. But hey, whatever.
I mean, for people who didn't play it before, I mean, you're not going to get a great looking game, but
You'll get a game.
you'll get a. Looks like you'll get a collection that you can play on the go.
All beatable in 2 days if you're quick enough.
Yep. Shout out to Zach for speed running it through as much Assassin's Creed as he could last summer.
And then we have this My Hero Academia Ultra Rumble announced for Xbox One, PS4, Switch, and PC. A free-to-play 24-player battle royale.
That really came out of nowhere.
That's a really small roster, or not roster, but grouping for a battle royale.
It depends on the map size.
I mean, I'll be
Because-
curious about that.
Because I forgot the name of it. I just had it. There's another battle royale that's it's a smaller player count, but it's like the twist on it is you use magic with like different gauntlets,
Spellbreakers.
spellbreakers. Yeah, it
That BR so easy.
yeah. See that one boasts a smaller player size.
Yes, it does.
So it probably, depending on the map size, you may just be looking at smaller player counts to accommodate quicker matches
Okay.
or something like that.
I mean, I get it now because I mess with Spellbreakers a little bit. I mean, it took a little bit getting used to initially, but I mean, because it felt so different from other BRs, the people who were able to pick it up quicker were very noticeable because they just destroyed everybody.
Yeah, I was one of the ones who did not pick it up quickly, and then but on the other side, I did very quickly drop it.
So, I mean, I'll be curious because the only recent BR I've played is a game called Internal Return, if I'm remembering correctly. And it's a MOBA BR.
That sounds interesting.
Is that the one you
It's
told me?
fun.
Is that the one you told me
Yes.
about on Steam?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You showed me that.
Yeah.
I think I have it like on my wish list. I meant to download it.
I mean, it's free to play.
Yeah, I meant to download it. I never did.
If you pick it up, John, let me know. I always need a duo, buddy.
Yeah, I was gonna say with this announcement, it looks like we might finally get Alex into BRs.
I mean, I'll try it. I'll try it.
Hey,
but
he'll try it. Maybe he'll like the format finally.
He's just going to play Bakugo. There's nothing else he's going to do.
It doesn't matter if he likes
Fuck off.
if
First
he
off.
likes the format, he'll get into other ones.
possible.
Not likely to happen. I'm just stretching. here.
Also more than likely true.
This guy always says he's gonna play games and then doesn't play them.
Hey, when are you going to play Alan Wake?
Oh yeah, the weekly reminder.
I knew that was coming. I'll play Alan Wake. I refuse to give up on this. I want to
Let
prove
me ask
people
you
wrong.
this: did you download it?
No, I gotta buy it.
Well,
I thought you had Jimmy's copy.
Well, I mean, the remaster came out. I'm just gonna get that.
what?
I do have Jimmy's copy though. It's still sitting on the shelf in there.
All right, I'm just gonna move on past this now. We got Stalker 2 delayed to December 8th.
That's a pretty heavy delay.
That is a heavy delay.
Yeah, because I think that was what part of that was part of next month.
No, I think it was actually March. I think it
Okay.
actually got pushed back to March for a little bit.
That's a big delay.
Dang, I wonder what happened there.
Yeah.
I will say, it makes me a little bit happier to see a game pushed far back than pushed back like a month or two.
Fair
Because
enough.
if you're gonna delay the game, you might as well push it back like they're doing here. Just push it to the end of the year. Give yourself another basic 7 to 9 months of good work on it before you worry about fine tuning it. That gives me a little more what's the word?
Confidence?
Yeah, confidence to them.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I can respect that.
And then we got Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5 have more active players than Battlefield 2042.
I'm not surprised by this.
This was one of the few things that when I heard it, I went, well, yeah.
People picked up 42 and then were not happy with it. Mostly because it freaks out on people.
Yeah. There was some decent amount of hype for 42 leading up to it.
I was actually, it's probably the first Battlefield game I was looking forward to playing, but then, like, none of the preview gameplay or, like, the alpha and betas that they did made me interested at all. All I saw from it, I was like, you know what? Maybe this isn't the one for me to jump in on.
I know Jimmy was really excited for it, but I haven't talked to him if he ever actually got it or not because of everything that kind of came out of it. So I'll have to ask him, get his thoughts. I'm kind of curious. But I thought that was really funny when they showed up the stats of all three of the games, and it's just like the other two are just like, it's not close.
Yeah, because everyone who went to 2042 went back to the one they liked.
Yep, exactly. Oh, man. You hate that. You love to see it. You hate to see it, just depending on who you are.
We got Take-Two by Zynga for $12.6 billion, with plans to focus on a mobile push.
Now the highest purchase of a studio in gaming history.
Why this one? Because for anyone who doesn't know, Zynga's famous for making Farmville.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
You
Facebook
know what
game that took over the world.
You know what Farmville would be great to be played on? A phone.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, but now they can make the new Farmville.
I think it's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure it's called Farmville 3,
Yeah, now they can make new games to play on phones.
but it's Take-Two.
I don't understand your point.
It's Brutal Legend Mobile.
It's not happening. Actually, hell, it might happen.
No, I mean, that is an absolutely insane purchase. And it's also kind of eye-opening for a lot of people where, you know, when you hear, yeah, this is the highest, you know, purchase of a studio in gaming history, they're like, really? You know, Zynga's like, mobile markets are it makes a lot of money.
I mean, mobile market does make a lot of money because there's a lot heavier microtransactions.
Yep.
It's just we don't notice it as much over here in the West.
Yep.
But god dang if that market isn't just booming over in the East.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I might. I don't know about you, Zach, but I definitely know I play more mobile games than Alex here.
Oh, you currently play more than me.
I play the most mobile games here then. And let me tell you, when you're playing mobile games, you can very easily tell who's got the money that they put into it.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I haven't been playing a mobile game lately, but, I mean, I pick some up from time to time. I mean, my biggest one was, like, not last year, but the year before I got into Fate, a Grand Order. And, like, I played that for a year straight, and I got into it.
Well, it's like I'm big on, like, idle games and clicker games and like that. But I had one that I was playing for 2 years every day, like actively playing it for probably 2 hours a day, and it's a weird thing to see that somebody who could pick the game up that day, drop some money on it, and be much further along than me.
Yeah.
And believe me, I felt it.
Versus me on the opposite with Grand Order is I went whale and I rolled for some high characters, got them. With my natural luck, I got them in like 2 rolls and then carried on.
This motherfucker.
Mobile market is a powerful market.
And then we got Microsoft confirmed that Forza Street is dead.
Question. Who here knew what Forza Street was?
I didn't know Forza Street was a thing until I saw this.
Wasn't great, by the way.
And that's why it's dead. And that's also why no one remembers it.
It was okay for what it was.
I mean, I'm not surprised it's dead. Once I saw that and I kind of read into it, I'm just like, all right, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And then Phil Spencer calls for a cross-platform ban program, as well as Halo players also calling for disabling cross-platform.
Now, I do see Phil's point. I do. Because, I mean, you get banned on PC for doing shit, then you can just hop over to console.
Yeah.
I think that would be a very good thing to do, the cross ban program. And then for the cross platform, like disabling it. I mean, I do see the argument, but me personally, I wouldn't want to see it go just because, like, it just keeps everything more open.
Yeah.
And I personally like that. At one point in time, I wouldn't have liked that, but now I've grown a lot more open to it. But yeah, I do see the arguments for it.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it only for the ranked matches that you can select to not play or to only play? So you can do that for the ranked. I can see why they like just kept that then, because I guess they figured the vast majority of the players aren't going to worry about it. It's the people who are playing the ranked matches are going to be the ones who care.
Yeah, they would definitely care the most.
So maybe they can just add in that feature for casual play too.
If they could do that, then it's like that'd be fine. But I mean, it also depends. Like I didn't look into this that much, so I don't know how big of a following or what the player base is. If it's all console players wanting it that are just playing casual games, getting matched against mouse and keyboard players, or if they're playing ranked and have it enabled. That I'm not sure of. I would like to be interested in a breakdown of that, though. I would figure it's mostly casual players who just don't want to play against mouse and keyboard players.
That'd be my guess as well.
Which, if that's the case, I mean, maybe they'll add that option where you can turn it off. But at the same time, that's a big part of like keeping that community alive across both PC and console.
I mean, it really is. I mean, it's sort of interesting to think, because when you think of big crossplay games, as much as I dislike the game on just me personally, Fortnite, which is literally a crossplay between all consoles and mobile.
Yep.
Well, it's interesting because other kind of big games that have somewhat been having to tackle this problem is also Apex.
Yeah.
Because that's more of it's like they talk more about like controller aim assist and everything in that game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's the same issue.
Yeah.
Where you can't please everyone with it, because if you take crossplay away from the game, the PC community might die, because the console community for that game is vastly larger.
It is, but I mean, from what I remember on Apex, there is actually an option to turn crossplay off in Apex.
Yeah. You can do that in like Apex, for example. But that game's gotten big enough to where it can support itself. Where Halo is what was a dead game trying to revive itself.
Yeah,
that's the best way to put it, honestly.
Which, if they turned off crossplay, it's quite possible it would suffer heavily.
At least on the PC side, it would probably drastically fall.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess as well, personally, because, a lot of people are, buying Series S's right now because they're more easy to obtain, and the price point's a very, very like welcoming price point.
Yeah.
At $300 for what that mmachine can do
versus $700 for an X.
Yeah, especially since it is just free to play. So I mean, you can just get a for $700 for an X. You can just get the the Series S and then just download off Game Pass. I mean, it's like, what's the big deal if it's digital anyway? So, I mean, that is a good point, that the PC side of things would really suffer. I just feel like the easiest fix in Halo's case is just add in the options they have for ranked in there, personally. That'd be my best guess. But in terms of the cross band thing, I think that's a very good idea.
Oh, honestly. That would definitely be a good idea.
I think that's a very phenomenal idea, because I mean, Phil brings up a phenomenal point where it's just like, you get banned here, then you can just go over there and just keep on doing the shady shit that you're doing. So that's a great idea.
Now, if only we can use that against all the Chinese gold farmers.
That's true. Let's continue to have this conversation involving Xbox here, because there was initially some reports that came out, and then the reports turned around where Microsoft confirmed said reports that they actually discontinued Xbox One production in the end of 2020. So all throughout 2021, they focused on production for the Series X and the Series S, which is also why we've actually been able to see Series S's in store. Yeah. I mean, you saw one recently.
I finally saw one.
Yeah, he sent it to me. He's like, they do exist.
I took a picture of it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I've been walking by that section for like a year.
Yeah.
I mean, if I go to one of the game shops I've been going to lately, pretty sure the Series X may still be there.
Okay. I mean, for $700, yeah, maybe. But while they're doing that though, and they're focusing on the Series, which is now the fastest selling Xbox console ever as of now, PlayStation, on the other hand, they're actually picking back up production on PS4s for this year because of how brutal the shortage is. Because like the thing is, when it comes to the 4 consoles here, right? The Xbox Series S and the Series X use different components, and that's what creates the cheaper price point. PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Digital, not so much. It's just one just has a disc tray. There's not much differences between them, so that's why there's still a brutal shortage on PlayStation 5 as a whole versus Xbox Series. Well, at least you can get a Series S pretty easily. I mean, I could probably check my phone right now and probably find a Series S to buy here locally, like within probably 40 miles, whether it would be like a Best Buy or whatever. I probably could. So them picking back up PS4 production going through all of this year is very interesting to me. Especially with like some of the bigger titles that we know are coming out.
Only on PS5.
Only on PS5.
Yeah, because that's what I was mentioning to you when we were briefly talked about it earlier, is because one of the games coming out this year that I'm looking forward to is Forspoken.
Yes.
And at least on the website for it, PS5, PC.
Yep.
And that's what kind of really hit it home for me, because I was like, oh shit, guess I'm playing on PC now. Because while that may be a game that I was looking at as like more of a kind of a sit back and enjoy kind of game, like on my PlayStation, no, not so much now.
And with this as well, I find it kind of interesting because Xbox was going into this generation, they were very like open of like cross-gen stuff. They were very like pushing that narrative, while Sony originally was kind of trying to make that fine line. And Sony now it's like the roles are reversed.
Because Sony was always against cross-gen for the longest time.
Yes. And the only reason they're doing cross-gen is just out of necessity.
Yeah.
And this is also why I still believe all the reports that a new model of PS5 is coming out this year. I mean, like I said, it's not going to be some new PS5. It's just going to be a PS5 with different chips in it that are more readily available, because the chips they've been using is just they're not there. It's just not available. So I do find it interesting that PS4s are going to continue in stock for the remainder of this year, because I know it was already like, I think early last year, it was pretty much like the end of 2020, PlayStation already completely cut off production of PS4 Pros, which I can get that, because it's like, why buy a PS4 Pro for this price when you can get the same price PS5 digital? That was the point. But now it's just like, maybe the PS4 Pro is, I know they're not going to pick back up production on it unless they are, and it wasn't specified in this article, because I didn't see that it mentioned that. My first thought is, I'm thinking of some of these games coming out, playing on just a regular PS4. I'm thinking of like a God of War or Horizon Forbidden West, or what if they put Forspoken on the PS4? I doubt they would, but what if they do that? I mean, one game that actually wasn't supposed to be on the PS4 that's coming to the PS4 is Gran Turismo 7 in March, right? I think March. When that was originally revealed, that was PS5 only. That was not supposed to come to PS4, and they backtracked on that. So who's to say they're not going to backtrack on other games, which how well are those games going to run? So it's going to be very fascinating to watch what Sony does throughout this year with the PS4 right now.
Watches all these games cyberpunk it.
Yeah, true.
I will say, what a fucking boss move by Microsoft, though, to be like, we're just not going to tell anybody, and we're going to have a full year of making these, like, focusing on just these consoles, and then maybe they'll notice, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just be like, hey, what's going on? Why are these suddenly starting to show up everywhere?
Hey, man, that is a boss move. Microsoft's honestly just been making all of the right moves for this generation, which is great, because Xbox One generation, while I know you're a big fan of it, I mean, it was really like the weakest generation of Xbox that it's had for a few different reasons. And PS4 dominated the generation. It wasn't even close. So, right now, Series, man, I mean, I've leading up to the series release, I was already thinking that Xbox was going to have a very good generation because of a few different things. Bethesda obviously did help with this, but man, Xbox is making all the right moves right now. I think they're being set up for a very good generation, and but like that is a very boss move just to cut production and spend a full year just focusing on the new stuff.
And I mean, if they spent the full year, I would highly expect, seeing as all of us have slowly been seeing them just random spots, that by holidays this year they'll probably actually be fairly consistent in stores to a point.
Yeah, it's just the Series X that won't be consistent.
Yeah,
that's the only downside. But Series S, at least, I mean, I still think Series S is a good purchase for someone who's just wanting to get into it that doesn't super care about having physical games. I mean, $300 price point for what that console can do. That is a phenomenal price point, phenomenal entry point.
Why would you want physical games?
Shut up, John. I like physical games.
Let me finish this statement. Why would you want physical games if they're not retro?
Because I like my physical games, okay? I'm weird.
Take up space.
They do take up space, but I like the space that it takes up. Let me enjoy my physical games.
No.
Damn it. But, the last thing that I want to say on this is with this news happening and them saying the production is now starting back up on PS4s, that does bring the question, exactly how far behind are you on the PS5s?
Probably quite a bit.
That's my guess. I can only imagine how far behind they are right now on it.
Well, you got to think they're openly going back on what they said they were going to do.
Yep.
Which means we're nowhere close to them being able to say we're good. We can start stocking stores and everything again.
Yep.
Yeah, this is enough that whatever their loss margins or whatever, whoever had to plan that out, it's fallen under that. And they have to very publicly go, yeah, something has gone wrong.
Right.
Things aren't working out. And it may not be on Sony's side at all. It may just be on manufacturer's side of pieces they need. So
yeah. And to my understanding, that's all it is that it's on the pieces that they need is the problem.
Yeah.
But
which kind of like what you said, you've been talking about them coming out with a new PS5, just basically a PS5 that doesn't use the hardware that they can't get.
Yep.
Kind of like the Series S. S.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it kind of makes you think it would have been nice if it was something that was thought of on the front end, kind of like Microsoft had it, but that could just be looking at it from where we're at now and just realizing maybe you were right. Maybe Microsoft is just making some pretty good moves right now.
They really are. And with all of this as well, another thought that I have is that I feel like it just further pushes back whatever this new Nintendo console is going to be, if the new Nintendo console is going to be higher in power, which I firmly believe it is, because they are very fucking aware of just how little power their console has at this point because of just the amount of games that aren't on the console that would be great to be on the console. Or it takes so much time to be on there. When it does get on there, it's got to be a cloud version, or whenever it does come, it kind of sucks ass, So that this also tells me how far behind is going to be this new Nintendo console. Is it going to be 2023? I saw one report a few days ago where there was an insider believing that it could be 2024 before you get to see a new Nintendo console. So it's wild.
Just bring the GameCube back.
I'm here for that. Just start production back on the GameCube, please.
It's a GameCube, but it's a handheld GameCube that you walk around with the cube. And the buttons and everything are on the sides.
You say that as a joke, John. As he was talking about this, all I could think is it's a GameCube, but you can fold it into a phone.
Man,
I don't think that's how shapes work.
I mean, it isn't, John. But we got to look towards the future.
I mean, it's Nintendo.
I mean, they sold you cardboard with Labo. They're going to come up with something wild.
I still can't understand the fucking Labo.
Didn't sell me no damn cardboard.
It didn't sell to me either, but
I didn't have a Switch back then, so I had no reason to go buy a Labo.
speaking of the GameCube and just like the portable, I always think it's funny anytime I see like some old like GameCube ads pop up where someone uses it as a meme where it's just like Nintendo really thought everyone was going to actually be just carrying a GameCube around because like every ad puts so much emphasis on that fucking handle.
That damn handle.
Yeah. It's like they really thought everyone was going to be carrying it around all the time.
I mean, I didn't, but the few times I did, I mean, that handle was fucking handy.
It did come in handy, yeah. All right. Let's move on. All right. So early access for a game that I know Zach's been really excited for since Summer Game Fest came out. Zach, you got the chance to check it out. You told me, Anacrusis. Yeah. How is it? Is it living up to any hopes, expectations that you had when it was revealed?
It's rough right now.
All right. Well, cool.
I mean, it's probably a good thing it's an early access, but it's really rough right now. I mean, main basis of it is Left 4 Dead in space.
Okay.
You got 4 survivors who it really is no story explanation. Apparently, aliens showed up on the world and sort of taken over, and you're just running from airlock to airlock. Like, there's been no story explanation, so I have no idea what's going on in the setting. 4 people in sort of like this. I can never think of what genre style it is, but the same art style and design style is like what Deathloop had.
Okay.
I can never think of what that style is called, but it's that sort of type of style with sort of think like space setting pretty much. Almost reminds me a bit of like Jetsons clothing style and some stuff, how it's got set up. And you got these 4 people running from airlock to airlock doing stuff. I mean, it's rough right now. I could see where it could be very entertaining and whatnot, but it's sort of rough and clunky right now. Like, there is no very visible guiding of where you need to go.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not really any character voicing that's sort of helping you, direct you if you're not going the right way. Not even like usual cues of like some sort of emergency lights or a brighter area versus others. Everyone not, and it's a decent sized map usually each way too. So there's plenty of hallways and corridors to run through and everything, just find stuff, but not be the right way. Like during one of the levels, there's this whole section of just these like single cubicle cabins that every single door is open almost, and for the most part, they're just dead ends into the living areas. And maybe you find an item. Most of the time, you didn't. So it was just a constant walking in these until we figured out if there was anything worth a damn in them or if there's pointless. Mm-hmm. So there's a ton of extra open doors for some reason. And all the guns feel weird.
Okay.
So there's a shotgun, an assault rifle, a SMG, and a pistol are the main 4 weapons.
Are they like space
They're
weapons?
plasma weapons.
Yeah.
So it's all plasma based except for, and there's also 3 special weapons: a Tesla gun, which, as anyone understands, is just a lightning coil gun.
Yep.
Standard.
An auto turret, and then a laser. There's a straight laser gun, and it gives you no real context of how any of these really work. It just gives you a reticle. Like the Tesla one was fairly understanding if you know what a Tesla coil is. Mm. It gives you a big old square box as a reticle, and anything in it gets zapped. The laser was just a straight line, and it's literally just a straight line. Like, it has no real effects right now, just the red line. So I was just like waiting for something. I was like, it's such a tiny red line. I was thinking that it was like a charge up thing and shoot. No, it's just that tiny red line. You just got.
Oh, is it like a continuous beam that does damage?
Yes.
Or
and it's like
it's
super,
supposed
super
to,
small.
I assume?
Yes.
Okay.
And like it's pencil thin. So like.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's so thin that I thought it was a charge up thing versus just a straight laser.
Where it's like it's like a charge up thing where it's almost kind of like pick your target sort of thing. Where do you want it? Okay.
It'd be like when you just tap the trigger on a Spartan laser.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
that's exactly what it's like. And it took me forever to. I was like aiming. I was like nothing's happening. Then I finally hit someone. I was like, oh, what the.
It's been shooting the entire time.
It wasn't bad because I wasn't able to watch my ammo count either because it was during a random mob spawning. But like,
I will say that's underwhelming for a laser.
yeah it's super underwhelming. The Tesla gun felt good just because it's just if something hits, it's a drop. And then the auto turret, I mean, it's an auto turret. You set it up and it just goes to town.
Yeah, it does its thing.
That one could use a little bit more work though because like I set it up and started using it, but I didn't see really any noticeable effects. At least versus like big waves. If it was like I just set up in a room and there was some, it dropped them. But during like big waves, it was helping, but there was no real noticeable effect for me to be like, yes, this was worth picking up and carrying around.
Yeah, so it doesn't. So it sounds like is one of your 3 special weapons feels impactful and the other 2 are just there.
Yes. I mean, they do their job. It's just they're not noticeable.
Yeah, they do their job, but they're not well enough to be considered a special weapon.
Yes. Out of the guns, the one that felt the most solid to me was the shotgun. It's a shotgun.
Yeah.
It does its thing. Spray and pray.
It's hard to fuck up a shotgun.
And then you get the Halo Infinite shotgun.
Yeah.
That's great. What are you talking about?
You shit on that thing so much when you first played.
I didn't know how to use it.
And now he does.
The SMG's not bad. The assault rifle is a bit interesting to me because hip firing isn't bad in this game, but if you play a lot of shooters, you're more likely to go down to iron sights. And the only thing I don't like about the assault rifle, it's more or less a holographic scope on it. So it zooms in way too much for how close quarters of a game this is, since it's an alien zombie-ass game. So everything's in your face. And I don't know. I've slowly become part of the 3-round burst person, and it's full auto. That's just a personal preference.
Yeah.
So that's all the guns, and then there's the pistol, and I mean, it could be better. It takes way too many shots to kill something with a pistol in a game like this.
Yeah, I will say when you're talking about like the iron sights on it, like having the like hollow scope on it, man, there's something about games when it's like the hip fire doesn't feel great. So you're like, okay, I guess it's an iron sights game. And then you hit it and you're like, oh fuck.
That's exactly. As soon as the first time I picked up the plasma rifle, I went, all right, shit.
Yeah, because there's some shooters like Payday 2 was the biggest one for me. I don't think after like 2 hours in that game, I don't think I've ever looked down the sights of a gun.
Nope.
I knew where the bullet was on my monitor, and all I had to do was aim in that general direction, and I was good.
Payday 2 has phenomenal hip firing.
But it's like, and then other games, it's like you try to hip fire, and you're looking this way, and a bullet went that way.
Yeah. I mean, the hip fire's not bad. It's just not as consistent as you would like it.
It's not consistent enough to be as useful as.
Yeah, and so I mean, the game is really rough, and I mean, it's in early access, so I can see potential in it. But again, like during I only played through one of what they're calling episodes. They released this with 3 episodes. They're planning to have 5 at full release. And again, no idea what any story is. The characters have some voice lines at the moment, but not enough for me to grow attached to any characters. Guns are, for the most part, underwhelming. Level mapping, at least help guiding the player on where they need to go, is not the greatest. Like one of the later parts of the first episode, and it's sort of finishing as sort of a sprint to the safe room. They call them safe room, but they're just giant airlocks. Is because for some reason this ship they're on has a giant garden area, and you get to the big garden area, and as soon as you drop down, it's just endless horde, and you have to run through the flowers. Well, you can follow the path, but it takes you really convoluted ways when it's much quicker to just run straight through the flowers and everything, and just it wasn't great in just how all it went down, because as soon as you drop, just horde, no real warning or anything, just immediate drop, horde.
So does it feel more like they this has been released to kind of show, like, hey, we did make a game that you can play.
More or less, as so far as I've felt, is this is our game. This is the very core mechanics.
Yeah, it's like this is what the game is based around.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, you like this.
Hopefully you like this style before we really invest a lot more time on it.
Yeah, because I assume they're going to be finishing up the last 2 episodes and doing a little polish here and there with people, seeing as they're allowing this in early access. The one thing I sort of did like was the revive mechanism. I like and hate it because what it is, when someone dies, I don't know how it chooses. I don't know if there's something you can pick up where somebody dies, or if it just gives it to one of the teammates. They get a little injector, which upon activating it, it starts reviving that team member. But it revives them wherever you hit it. So if you're running from a horde and just unfortunately hit it, they're going to start reviving. And as long as someone's alive, they will revive. And they just revive just in the middle, could revive just in the middle of a hallway where there's a horde running through.
Oh, no.
Okay. I was sitting here and I'm like, you were saying you liked it, and I'm like, what? So they're not just found on a wall or something? No, you're just suddenly alive in a hallway.
Yeah, no, you just, it's space, so you have a technology that just lets you reconstruct somebody's molecular body.
Sure.
The thing I like about it is just you're able to easily choose where they respawn.
Yeah, you're not stuck. It's not like you see them through a wall over there, and it's like, okay, well, now I have to run over there, find my way up, and let them out.
Yeah, you got to fight your way. You can actually set up a defense to allow them to respawn if you want to.
Yeah.
I do got to say their ideas for their special aliens are actually very intriguing. So they have one which is literally called the Grabber, and it has 4 long arms, and from a certain distance, it can just snag someone and just start snacking on them. Very classic. They have the classic Brute, which is your big beefy boy who's going to smash everyone's face and take a lot of bullets. The two that I actually find interesting is, there's one other one called the Gooper, which
What a name.
Yes, which it shoots goo, and wherever the goo hits, it slows down your team. And if you actually hit directly with it, it covers you in the goo that has to be shot off. Because there's no melee in this game, by the way, which really messed me up. There's no melee. That messed me up so bad.
That seems really weird.
Instead of melee, every character has this pulse shield that has 3 charges before it has to recharge, and it just pulses everything away around you in a 360 area.
Okay.
Yeah. It took me the longest time to figure it out because I was hitting every button trying to melee and nothing happened, and then I saw other characters using the pulse shield. I was like, oh.
That's...
I mean, it's useful, but
it
feels so good to melee.
It's an interesting take on it, but melee in these style games is kind of a central aspect for the most part.
Yeah, but you have to shoot off the goo to free whoever got hit by it. And the two I actually find interesting, which are all slight pain in the ass, is the spawner, which spawns a bunch of seeds that roll around to attack the survivors and actually pop up and become turrets and shoot at the survivors.
Okay, that's cool.
That is very cool. It's annoying as hell, but it is very cool. And the other one is the flasher, which the flasher I like is because it is very cinematic. Because the flasher is just this big orange, ultraviolet radiating alien that just suddenly shows up, and you get nice music with it. And until you kill it, just hordes of aliens are attracted to it and come to attack you.
Okay.
So it's very cinematic because the first time I saw it was going through a more or less engineer area where there's a bunch of piping and whatnot in close quarters. And I just see around the corner this giant orange light coming to me down the hallway. I was like, what the hell is that? I just hear, Flasher. I was like, what? And I see a horde coming out from behind. I was like, oh, what the? What the? Yeah, pretty much. So, I mean, those two, I actually very like their mechanics and everything. The only bad thing about the Flasher Well, actually, no. Now that I think about it, it's not really bad. It's actually sort of fit. It forces the party to have to rush through the horde to kill it, since they don't stop until the flasher's dead. But yeah, that's my overall take on it. It's very core mechanics. I can see where a good game could come out of this.
They're just trying to sell you on the core mechanic from the sound of it.
But as it stands right now, it's pretty rough. I wouldn't suggest it to anyone unless you really just want to try it.
Unless you just want to see what they got cooking.
Yeah. The other thing which I just remembered is their version of the Witch, which is called the Seed, in which they need something for it, because more or less what the Seed is just a bunch of giant pods. I don't know really what, literally it's just seed pods, just in the fucking way. And if anyone shoots it, and when I say pods, we're talking like, there's probably about 8 to 10 of these suckers. And if you accidentally shoot near it, it activates them, and they just rush and beat the shit out of whoever shot them. So you just have these giant pods that just beat the shit out of you. And they take quite a bit of bullets. They move around a lot, so it's hard to lock onto them. And honestly, before you're on them, there's usually no visual cue or voice line cue. So you can set these off very easily on accident with no clue.
Yeah. So that seems to be a big aspect that they're missing across the board.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll continue to see how the game goes. Do we know a quarter release?
They have no actual full release date at this time.
Sounds like that's probably for the best right now.
Probably.
You know, while they just continue to kind of work things out. But I will say one thing. I don't think it's a bad decision what they've done to throw it out in early access, because again, like I said, it's just trying to sell you on the core mechanic.
I mean, and early access isn't a bad thing, because we have plenty of games that stay in early access for years.
That's true. That's true.
Because like, think about it, just GTFO just recently fully released. What it was, November, December?
It was during the Game Awards.
Okay, was it?
Yeah, because that's when they announced.
You're right.
That's when they announced the 1.0.
Yeah, so GTFO just came out, and that was in early access for years.
Just think about it. 7 Days to Die is still in early access.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Fortnite was in its beta for like what, 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, like I said, I definitely think it's good that they went ahead and released an early access just to sell you on the core mechanic while they continue to polish stuff up.
Yeah.
Last talking point we have here for the day is we did get a 13-minute Pokemon Legends gameplay trailer. This is probably the last thing that we'll get for Pokemon Legends until release. From the time of the recording, we have 13 days until the game comes out. This gameplay trailer didn't really, in my opinion, show you a whole lot of new things. It just kind of further pushed what they've already shown, like the 2 different fighting styles. They showed you the different. I mean, the one thing they did show some quest stuff. That is one thing they did show.
Well, I feel like they showed you what you thought it was.
Yeah.
Before they basically confirmed a lot of it for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shut off the quest, the crafting mechanic.
Yep.
Yeah, which the crafting is, I'm actually a fan of that. I like the idea of the crafting of it rather than going around and just, okay, well, I'm out, let's go to the mart and get some more balls or something.
Yeah.
Because it becomes very nonsensical after a certain point in the game. But the other thing that was nice was the way they talked and explained about the aggressive Pokemon sneaking up behind them.
Yeah.
Trying to sneak up on them and throw a ball at them. You get your one chance and then it's going to attack.
Yep.
I did sort of like that they actually showed off how the wild Pokemon were going to act in this game, seeing as in previous gameplays we've seen how they are aggressive, but we didn't know if it was going to all be like that or if it's going to be some, but it's going to be based on nature and level and things like that. And I'm going to catch me an Alpha Snorlax.
Yeah, the Alphas is an interesting take on it. I guess that's just going to be their version of the stronger Pokemon that you find. As
far as I'm aware from this trailer, is I assume it's just going to be that same Pokemon just with the better stat increases.
Yeah, it's
and stat growth.
Yeah, it'll have the better stats on it. And then probably from the sound of it, be physically larger.
Yeah, not necessarily a win all be all, because from the gameplay trailer it showed that they could be beaten fairly easily as long as you set up right for it to have counters. But so if you don't want to go after an alpha for your team, you don't necessarily need them.
Right. I don't know. I mean, everything they showed, I mean, I'm with you, John, on one thing. I think the crafting mechanic is that's an interesting idea to bring in. I mean, the alpha stuff, everything about it is interesting. But at the same time, I just can't get super hyped for it. I don't know why. I just can't. Like I'm very optimistic about it. I think this is a step in the right direction for Pokemon. But and I'm still buying it day one. I'm going to talk about it on the show, as I'm sure we probably all will. But I don't know. I'm keeping my hype to a minimum right now. You know, I don't want to go into it overhyped and potentially get disappointed, because I get a lot of like, I don't know if I'm the only one on an island with this. I saw some other comments or people kind of said the same thing, but you know, I just get kind of like Monster Hunter Pokemon vibes here, because it's not an open world game. It's like a sections game, as we kind of saw here. Yeah. So that's just kind of the vibe that I get. I guess it's because I'm just not a big Monster Hunter fan, and I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, like I said, I think this is a step in the right direction for Pokemon 100%. And I'll also say another thing, because naturally, it's fucking Pokemon. So there's always going to be people like horribly bitching and trashing a game, right? That's just how it goes every single time any release happens. The one most common complaint that a lot of people have, even after this trailer, is still how the game looks. You know, I think the game looks fine. I mean, look, do I understand people's argument to want like this super amazing graphical game? Yeah, okay, that'd be great. But at the same time, the style they're going for, it's just fucking Pokemon. That's the Pokemon style. Like, get over it.
The way this one looks, where it's, I mean, it's not as, it doesn't look as vibrant as the past games have been. This one, it's more muted tones. I like the way this game looks more than some of the previous ones.
I like it. I think in terms of looks, it's fine, but I also just accept it in my brain that, oh, this is a Pokemon style of game in terms of graphics, and with the muted tones, it looks good to me, but naturally everyone's going to fucking bitch about it. Get over it. It's just the style.
Yeah, the two main things left that I have on it is, one, the what the hell are they're like boss Pokemon called? Whatever they are.
Yeah, whatever. Just the bosses.
Oh, yeah. Nobles?
Yeah, Nobles. Thank you. The Noble boss fight, let me tell you, that looks tedious as fuck.
It does. Yeah.
That looks tedious, and it looks like you're going to probably have to do it quite a few times.
Yep.
From the sound of it. So depending on how long that actually takes, or if it can be sped up in any way, I mean, going to do it. I'm going to have to do it. But it looks a little tedious to have to do.
You're just not going to enjoy it.
Yeah, it's like I'll do it, but after about the third time, I'll probably be annoyed by it. And then the other thing was, you referenced like Monster Hunter with it. That's the interesting thing, is they showed off quests. They showed off like the wild Pokemon. They showed off like the different ways to travel. There's no talk of story.
Yeah.
So here's the only reservation I kind of have is, what are we doing? All they've said is you're going to take quests to observe Pokemon in the region. Okay, but what am I doing?
To my understanding, all your goal is to complete the Pokedex. That is literally it.
Yeah, that's all I've really
now,
done.
because like in terms of what you're saying, how there's been no talk of story, you're right. The only mention of story they had in that trailer is like, oh, and yeah, you know, you can mark stuff on your map, and you know, different quests, like this quest here, you know, helps progress the story. But it's just like, okay, that's great, but like, what's the story?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, because every other Pokemon game is okay, get your Pokemon, go do the gym challenge, beat the Elite Four. And this one, it's like, am I just going out in the world and playing? What am I doing here?
Well, for what the little bit we know, you're apparently part of some survey team for the region.
Oh, yeah. Well,
so all I've gotten is like, you're going to be surveying the region, I assume helping set up camps and whatnot, and then just observing the Sinnoh region's Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a strange departure. But I mean, I'm down for it right now. This trailer made me a little more excited for it. I've been kind of muted on it for the most part. I mean, it's been one of my anticipated games. The trailer makes me a little more excited for it because it showed off some of what I was curious about. Mm-hmm. So now, like I said, my main thing is, what am I doing in the game? but that's just something I'll figure out when I get in it.
Yeah, to my understanding, it's just completing the decks is your primary objective. Like when you can actually complete the decks, that's when Arceus will get involved. I've seen some rumors and leaks and reports that like key focus of the story will be on the almighty Sinnoh that's been referenced, and we've seen it a couple times. Like an NPC mentioned the almighty Sinnoh, which apparently is just Dialga or Palkia. I have no idea.
Well, the weird thing is like they have a Diamond and Pearl clan.
Yeah, I know.
I was just like, well, that was sort of shoehorned in, guys.
Yeah.
You're part of the Galaxy Survey team, and then there's the two influentials, Clan Pearl and Clan Diamond.
Oh man, that's classy.
I mean, like I said, I do think the game is going to be fun. I don't know. It's just, I guess, a gut feeling that it's not going to like absolutely blow me away, but it's going to be a very fun game. Yeah, that's just kind of a gut feeling. I can't really explain fully into details. It's just, I mean, it does look fun. Like I said, I think it's a step in the right direction. I just don't think it's going to fucking blow my underpants off or anything. I'm just going to have a fun time. I'm probably going to get very annoyed by the nobles. Like you were saying, it looks very fucking tedious, and I'm probably going to get annoyed, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, this will probably be the last trailer where we actually get to really see anything before the game comes out. So I imagine like we won't get to see like the starter Hisuian forms before the game comes out.
Probably not.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what they look like, mostly because I just want to see what Samurott looks like. I'm really excited for that.
I mean, this is just my precursor to Dynasty Warriors Empires.
That's coming out in February, right? Yep. Very excited for February because we have 34 days to Horizon Forbidden West, and I'm so excited. It's gonna be a great time.
I see you keep tweeting about that.
I'm excited for the game, man. I'm very, very excited. Everything they continue to show on the game just gets me more and more excited for it. So I'm ready. I'm ready to pick that game up, play it for a weekend. Yeah. I really wanted the special edition because the steelbook case looks dope as shit. But I'm not trusting anyone. not after what Target's done to me the last few times. I'm not trusting anyone. I'm just gonna fucking just get the game.
Dude, speaking of dope game case,
oh, yeah.
is that Project Triangle Strategy like special edition or collector's edition that you sent me looks fucking cool.
Yeah.
Probably I don't know if I'm committed enough to get it, but
that's how I feel.
Does it look good.
He didn't really care for it. I showed it to him. He didn't really care for it.
I mean, the steelbook look nice in the metal dice. I mean, I could care less about the other stuff.
Well, you're also not excited about the game.
Correct.
and it's the stuff that's cool for the people who want the game.
If you find a limited edition Metal Slug Tactics, we'll talk.
Okay, well, I'll let you know. I'll send it to you first the moment I see it if it happens. But no, like what you said about Triangle Strategy, John, that's kind of how I feel towards that edition. Is I don't know if I'm committed enough to the game to get that because I also didn't see a price point on that. I have not seen a price for that yet.
Yeah.
That's also the problem, but I imagine it's going to be kind of expensive naturally. But I'm still very excited for Triangle Strategy. I'm ready for that game to come out. It looks like a lot of fun, and that edition does look cool. That steelbook is what got me. The steelbook looks really, really cool.
I mean, the steelbook looked nice.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for a good steelbook. But anyway, I feel like that does it for the show. Yeah. Boys, any other thoughts on the shit we talked about? Anything at all?
No, not particularly for me.
No, it'll just be interesting to see how far Sony has to backpedal right now.
That's true. I'm curious how far it's going to actually be. That's something that's going to be very fun to watch over the next few months. Also, speaking of Sony and fun to watch over the next few months, I'm seeing a lot of reports right now, and I mentioned this to you I mentioned this on AniMan Plus. Next month, we could see the reveal of whatever Project Spartacus is, because they've started pulling like the PS Now cards from stores and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've seen reports that next month we could see this Project Spartacus, as they've dubbed it, which is whatever this new subscription tier program is going to be, that's going to compete with Game Pass. So it could be a month and we see it, but them starting to pull PlayStation Now cards in retail stores is it's telling that it's on the way. It's coming very, very soon. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what it's going to involve, from what we've seen from like the Bloomberg report, PSP, PS1, PS2 games. PS3 was not really mentioned, but it's still on the slate. I feel like for PS3 games, I'm wondering how much they would actually really change the formula that they have now and just make it where you just stream the games like you do currently on PS Now. But see, that would be kind of disappointing because like while I have not tried PS Now personally, I know people who have, and they've all said that it fucking sucks.
It does.
The streaming for it is terrible.
It's
the servers
rough.
are dog shit.
Well, that's one of the things we talked about is just changing it to have the ability to download the game rather than make me stream the game.
Yeah.
And I'm much more likely to attempt your service.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I had PS Now for a while to actually, because I think I picked it up to try and play the Sly Cooper series because for some reason I wanted to play that, and it took me forever to beat the first game just because I kept getting dropped.
Oh, that's rough. So that's also going to be interesting what they do with PS1 and PS2 and PSP is like, can we download them like on Game Pass, or is it just going to be streamed? Because if it doesn't give you the option to download it, then Game Pass is still the winner.
Yeah.
I mean, while granted, Sony has an unbelievable catalog of games that would be really cool to go back and revisit. If I can't download it, it's not competition. I'm sorry, it's not. But
yeah, I mean, hell, I went through the other night with one of my buddies, and we just started downloading games on Game Pass to try out. Mm-hmm. It's like a game. It's like we're just basically flipping through, going, "What about this one? Yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's download it. If it don't work, what's the harm?"
yeah, exactly. And so I don't know. Looking forward to seeing what Project Spartacus is going to be, and if it will be an actual 3-tier program. Price point on that, what each tier will actually consist of. But it is coming very soon with them pulling the PS Now physical cards from stores. It is on the way very, very soon. Anyway, we'll go ahead and wrap up the show now. I'll hit the music. We can work our way out of here. Last thoughts, last words.
So, thank you for watching. If you've gotten this far, it does help, and we appreciate it. You can.
Sorry,
What the heck?
I accidentally hit this. Sorry.
Like, comment, subscribe, rate, whatever your platform allows. It does help. If you like what's going on, you can hit that subscribe, and it'll help us out there on YouTube. If you want to know when anything's uploaded, you can hit the bell, and it'll let you know anytime we upload anything, whether it be this show, AniMan Plus, talking about movies, stuff, the other trash can. Yeah, at youtube.com/Sparky3.
Yeah, if you've made it to the end of the video, thank you very much. Do everything Zach said, and hopefully you'll be here next week.
Yeah, hopefully you will be here next week, and make sure to go check out the other shows, AniMan Plus. The episode of AniMan Plus that's about to come out is a pretty good one. It's a lengthy one, like this one is, but Zach and I talked about a lot of episode 1s for a lot of new animes that just popped out, so we definitely appreciate a listen there. Plus, a terrible football show in the playoffs and everything, good stuff there, and then talking about movies and stuff whenever we release episodes. And like I said at the beginning, we're up to something, so stay tuned because it's very exciting. I cannot wait to release it to the world for you guys to see what we have cooking, because it is probably like, I mean, it's the biggest thing that we've done so far. It is. I mean, it is legitimately a big deal. It is the next step for Sparky 3 and everything that we have on the way. So, I mean, every time I look at it, I just get so, like, filled with excitement. I can't even begin to say. I get giddy every time I look at it. I'm just like, oh, this is going to be great, dude. I'm so pumped. But anyway, that's going to be the end of it. Until next time, guys, have a good one. See ya.
Bye.
See ya.